Welcome back to a new Pizza Array tutorial. Today I will show you how I created the cubic city animation. Some people of you ask me how I created this one, and today I will show you the way how I did it. So let's jump right in. And today we will start with our cube. For this one we have to select our cube, and let's go into the edit mode. Select all the faces by pressing A and scale this one up. So we have a really tall building now. Okay, that's cool. Let's leave the edit mode and jump into the shading tab. And here we will import our first textures. I used the Node Wrangler tool, the new Node Wrangler plugin. You can find it under Preferences, Add-ons, and search for Node. And now we will select the Principal BSDF shader and press Ctrl, Shift, and T, and select the textures from our first building. But we only need the normal map and the color map. This is looking good now, but now we have to do some subdivisions for some displacement, because Eevee needs subdivisions. Now let's prepare our building for this by pressing tab again and right click, subdivide, and let's do this for 4 times. And now we can go to UV and make a cube projection. I used the cube projection because I like the tiling a little bit more. So okay, cool. And now we will go to the Add Modifier tab and select the subdivision surface. Let's go to Simple, and let's put the level viewport and the render viewport to 4. I think 4 is enough for this scene. And let's add a displacement modifier as well. And what we have to do now is click on New and go to the Texture Property tab and open our first height map, which we can find in the building 1 folder here. And let's open image. And okay, cool. And now we can see we have some displacement here right now. But let's go back to the displacement node and select by coordinates local to change this to UV. And yeah, here's this. I think that's a little bit too high, the strength. So let's put this one down to maybe 0.2 or maybe 0.5, something like this. And yeah, I think that's looking cool now. And for every building I added emission shader, or not an emission shader, I added some emission, and I did this by hooking up the base color into the emission node input. And as you can see, let's go into the rendered mode now. The whole building will glow, and that is that's not what we want. So let's search for color ramp. Put this one here between the color node and the Principal BSDF, and let's change here the black amount and the white amount. So let's see, maybe to something like, this. I think this is really cool here. And yeah, you can change the color to maybe something bluish or what you want. So I think this is yeah, this could be our first building. So let's rename this one to building 1, and the material as well. So building okay, cool. And we have to do this yeah, 3 times. So let's duplicate our building now. Yeah, let's duplicate this one by pressing Shift and T. Disable this one and duplicate this material by pressing on New Material, and change the name to Building 2. And let's go into the edit mode, and maybe let's scale this one a little bit down to something like this. Okay, let's delete all the stuff here. Boop, boop. And let's select the principal VSDF and pressing Shift T, Control Shift T again, and select the textures out of our second folder. And now we can see that we have some other textures here on our second building. Okay. And now we have to change the UV map as well. So the height map. So let's go into this tab here and yeah, select the texture or the height map out of in the second folder, which is here. So now we have yeah, now our displacement map fits to our texture. Let's decrease the strength here to 0.5. I think that's cool. And let's do the emission trick again. So let's put this one into the emission folder, emission node input, search for ramp, color ramp, and yeah, let's decrease the strength here now. So maybe, let's see, maybe to something like this. Yeah, I think that's maybe to something like this. And now we can select other color, which is something yellow orange now. Okay, cool. That's our second building now. And do the whole thing again. Duplicate this one. And duplicate our material again. Oh, okay. Let's delete all the stuff here. Go into edit mode and maybe scale this one more up. Okay, cool. Now again, Control Shift and T. Building 3, select the 2 textures here. Okay. Now we have to do the same with the displacement map and select the displacement out of the third folder here. So we have something like this. and now we have to add what we can do now, because I think this purple is a little bit too hard. You can put a color ramp as well in the base color, so you can easily change the color to something darker, maybe to something like this, because I think a little darker building is a little bit cooler. So let's go with this one. Put this here again into the emission. Maybe let's try here with a ramp again, and let's see where we can add some cool light here inside this building. Okay, and let's increase the emission strength here and change the color to maybe something pinkish. I think this is really cool. What I forget is let's increase the roughness for all of the buildings, and yeah, the roughness. Okay, roughness. So all of our 3 buildings are done now, which is really cool. Let's create our city. So and we will do this with some geometry nodes. So let's go into the geometry node tab and create a plane. Open this one in the edit mode by pressing tab and scale this one up to something like this. And okay, let's go and add a geometry node modifier. And first of all, we have to search for point distribute node, for a point and distribute node, which disappears here now. Distribute node. So put this one between. Let's search for point instance, which is here, and put this one between point distribute and the geometry output node. And first we can now select our buildings. Now you can see we have much of our first building, so let's decrease our amount a little bit to maybe something 0.1. And what we can do now is search for a random attribute randomize. Put this one between the point distribute and the point instance. So okay, and let's search for the attribute position. Okay, and we can go with the vector, and now we can put our buildings along our space here now. And another one is, let's duplicate the attribute randomize by pressing Shift D. Put this one here, put this one over here, and let's change the attribute to scale and from vector to float. And now we can play a little bit around with some scaling here, that our buildings are a little bit randomized. So okay, cool, that's for our first building. Let's select all of these nodes, pressing Shift D, and put this one down here. And now we will connect the geometry to the geometry node and select the building 2. And yeah, to join our, or to connect two geometries to the geometry output node, we have to use join geometry node. So let's put this one here, and now you can see we have added our second building, but we have to change the seed now. So our second building is not on the same point or on the same place from the first building. And yeah, I like to make my life a little bit easier. So when I want to change here the whole vector position thing, I don't want to do this for every building. So let's search for X, Y, and Z, and let's select combine X, Y, and Z. And now we can put this vector here into the min, and this one here into the other min from the second building. And let's go with some like 30 by 30 or maybe 20 by 20. Duplicate this one by pressing Shift D and put this one here into the max and into the max again. So let's do something like -20, and now we can yeah, do this for the whole buildings and not for every single one. Okay, and now let's do this for the third building again. So let's select the whole node setup here. Put this one here into the geometry node and this into the join. And let's select here building 3. And let's do some randomness here. And now we have our yes, I think this is cool. And now when we render this, we have our small city here. Okay, cool. This is looking great now, I think. So let's jump into the camera, and yeah, I like to adjust our camera now. So I use the viewport navigation, fly navigation. Yeah, sorry, I use the walk animation. So you can right click and add a shortcut for this. So if you select Shift, and now you can fly around the scene with WASD, yes. And for Shift, when you're pressing Shift, it's a little bit faster. So, and position your camera to a cool angle now. So maybe let's do something like this and change the seat here now. So, and maybe let's decrease the number for this building here to maybe something like this. Let's see, let's go with this here now, and let's see where we can place our camera now. Maybe let's go with something like this, or maybe let's change the seat here again. So yeah, I think that's cool. And I think I like this one here. Okay, so let's go with this here. And now yeah, let's do some lightning. And first of all, I like to add add a fog cube. So let's create a cube. First of all, let's rename this one here. This is the city now. So now let's create a mesh and a cube. Let's go to the side view and let's scale this one up here and do something like this. Okay, cool. And now let's hit back to shading mode, go to rendered, and now we can activate the ambient occlusion and the screen space reflection if we want. So, and let's delete this light here. And now let's select our cube here, which is the fog. Let's add a new material, fog. Let's get rid of the principal BSDF shader and search for volume. And let's go with the volume scatter node. Put this one here into the volume. And now it's time to add some lights, and which is now in this scene it's only 2 lights, and the first light is a sunlight. And now let's add, let's see what our sunlight is here. So let's change this to bluish color now. Make contact shadows enable and increase the strength to maybe something like 50, or yeah, whatever you like. But for me it was 50. A good choice. So I think that's cool now, and now we can play with the anisotropy. So maybe let's decrease this a little bit so it's not so bright here. And if you want to have a little bit less fog, you can scale the fog cube and the z-axis. So, but I think I like the scale like it is. And yeah, our sunlight, we have to rotate it a little bit. So let's go for let's go for something like 37, 3 and 530. Okay, that's looking cool, I think. So maybe we can put down the fog a little bit. So maybe do something like this. Scale this one up, and yeah, maybe let's increase the anisotropy now, but it's really up to you. So maybe do something like this. I think this is cool. And scale the fog up. So yeah, okay, I think so. Now we can add another light, which is a point light. And let's tint this one orange and increase the power to something like this. So, and let's put this behind behind our buildings here. So just maybe do something like this, and let's see if we can increase a little bit the numbers of the buildings now, so we have a little bit more detail here. So let's see. Okay, so what I did was I changed or played around with the density of each building and the seed, so that is everything in the right amount, or in the right amount, which final shot you want to have. So, and for the last one, I like to add another fork, which is the whole fork in which is the fork in the whole scene. So let's go back in the shading tab and select the world, and here we can search for volume as well, volume scatter. Put this one here into the volume, and now we see nothing, and we have to decrease the density to maybe something like 0.2 or maybe 0.1, and change the anisotropy to something you like. And yeah, now we have our final scene now. So maybe let's add some depth of field. So maybe you can go with this here and change the focus distance to, maybe we want to check this here, the buildings here, and the orange in the orange color. So, and now we can increase the f-stop a little bit more. So, and maybe let's go down with the density a little bit more to maybe something like that. But it's up to you. So. And that was the cubic city animation. I hope you like this one, and if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments or any ideas for new tutorials, please write them down in the comments. And yeah, I see you next time. Bye bye.